All right, so this is a look at AdoramaPix. So if you're a photographer, you're into photography, you've no doubt heard of Adorama. Well, AdoramaPix is essentially their photo printing arm of Adorama. So AdoramaPix does all sorts of photo printing, 4x6s, 5x7s, etc., etc., etc. They also do, though, these photo books. Now, AdoramaPix was really interesting for me, and here's why. The standout feature, and they're the only one to offer this type of feature at the price point of kind of the general consumer, are the lay flat pages. So as you can tell, when I open up this book, there's no gutter. I mean, this thing literally opens up and it lays completely flat. Now, this is a feature that is pretty common in like wedding books and things like that, but typically those wedding books, I mean, they $300-400 or more, like really, really expensive. And so AdoramaPix is the only one offering this particular feature. And one of the things I love about the lay flat pages is I really liked how essentially you don't need to fight with the book, right? You just kind of open it up and it opens up and you can see everything. AdoramaPix, they say that their spine, binding here is really strong and it's not going to break down. This is the first book of theirs that I have, and I've only had this for a few months, and it hasn't been flipped through 1,000 times. So it's a little bit hard for me to tell exactly whether or not that is true, but I definitely have to give them props. And the really nice thing about the lay flat pages is that you're able to do 2-page spreads. So if you're doing like a wedding album or something and you want to have a really nice wide panoramic image, it is absolutely killer to have these lay flat pages. So in terms of paper quality, as part of the overall lay flat page kind of technology, I gave them a rating of superb because I really like the lay flat pages. The other really cool thing is that the actual paper that they use, right, is it's one of the only ones that is sort of like high gloss. I mean, when you're looking through the photo book, you feel like you're looking at real photos that have been printed. Whereas some of the other books, because the paper was a bit more matte, you just don't get the sense that you're looking at sort of pictures. When you look at these photos, it feels like you're looking at, an 8x10 photo or whatever. So superb on the paper quality. Now, print quality, this was a bit of a mixed bag for me. The print quality, I would have rated it as excellent in terms of actual quality of print and actual resolution. Everything is super top notch. However, I bumped it down from excellent down into the average range, and here's why. AdoramaPix has something called photo corrections, okay? Now, I ordered this book with photo corrections turned on. What I didn't really like about the photo corrections being turned on is that a lot of my images, it's difficult for me to describe. It's almost like they were desaturated slightly and the contrast was actually turned down a little bit. Because as I look through the book and I look at these pictures, some of them just look a little bit dull. And I tend to like my pictures to pop, right? And the original pictures did pop, and there's just something a little bit not quite right as I look through these pictures. Like I said, they just don't look quite as good. Now, the only way for me to know for sure, right, it would be if I got a second copy of the book and I had photo corrections turned off. But because I don't have the ability to do that, I'll just say that I might suggest that if you have, color corrected your images and if you've worked really hard to make sure your images look exactly like you want them to, request the book with photo corrections turned off. Okay, now, so that was the print quality. Cover quality, I rated the cover quality as being a superb. I really liked the cover quality. It has this really nice kind of gloss finish, and this isn't going to show up in camera, but it's almost like a bit of a semi-metallic, almost like pearlescent effect on the cover, which is really nice. It just makes it pop. It's really cool. One of the things I didn't like, and this might push it down a little bit into the excellent category, there's no spine printing. Now, in discussions with their PR person, it turns out that there are spine printing on some templates. Some templates have it, some templates don't. If you're doing a completely custom book, apparently there is a way to do it, but it's completely not obvious to the end user at all. And so AdoramaPix really needs to make it obvious. I mean, if when I was building this book, there was, a text box that said, put text here for spine printing. Obviously, I would have done it, but apparently I would have needed to know that I needed to create a text box on the spine. And for the most part, if you don't see something on the spine, you just assume that you can't print on it. So yeah, so overall cover quality is superb, but it's dragged down a little bit by the fact that the spine printing is so difficult. So overall quality, I rated the book as excellent. Now, here's a kicker though with AdoramaPix, okay? They're limited to 50 pages. So this baby book I made, as you already know if you've watched any of the other videos, was 60 pages long. So as you can imagine, it was really, really hard for me to go through this project and delete 10 pages because every page to me was just precious and, wonderful, right? So if you're going to do a book with these guys, design your project to fit 50 pages. Don't design more and then try to chop it down because trust me, that sucks. Now, the 50-page book was $65.58, plus shipping and whatnot. So, overall, in terms of value for the dollar, I really, really liked this book. And the reason why is just simply that at 65 bucks, it's not really any more expensive than any other books out there. In fact, it's cheaper than several of them, but you get this lay flat page effect, which I think it just makes the book stand out. When I had friends and family looking through all these books, this book stood out almost more than any other. So if you want to have your book stand out, go for the lay flat pages from the AdoramaPix books, but make sure you have the photo corrections turned off if you're an experienced a photographer and you have your images looking exactly like you want. So this was a look at the AdoramaPix book.